Before we get into today's show, I want to real quickly extend our sincerest condolences to the family of Tom Higgins, who passed away recently. You might know Tom as the creator of Classic 78. He unexpectedly passed away, and so we are all shocked. We're all very saddened. We want to dedicate today's episode to Tom, and we're going to be repping Classic 78. Think of Tom, his family, and raise your glasses to Tom Higgins. Welcome to the Kiss Army Things podcast, episode 120. So, it's been pretty much 1 year since the last Kiss show in New York at Madison Square Garden, since the big takeover. And so we're going to be kind of talking about that, how everything ended in New York, as well as our last two Kiss shows, and just kind of reflecting on that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us on this episode. If you're a new viewer, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're a recurring viewer, as always, thank you so much for returning. And we want to give a shout out to all of our Kiss Army Things patrons. Thank you so much for your support over there. We really appreciate it. Greg, Matt, Rex, Bjorn, and Darren, you guys rock. We really appreciate your guys' support. And stay tuned, because I got something cooking just for you guys. But anyway, like I said, we're going to be talking about kind of 1 year ago. We're going to be talking about 1 year ago and how we feel 1 year later. And just in case anybody's wondering why the quality isn't quite as good as it usually is on this channel, we are actually once again filming with the official Kiss Flip camera from 2010. If you might remember, on episode 20, we also filmed with the Flip camera and was talking about the last Kiss show and what it might look like. And so here we are now on episode 120, talking about how it was. It's a little weird
how perfect and poetic that ended up being.
Yeah, and I like
100 episodes later.
Yeah, I like making special moments like that. So I thought, you know what? I think it's time to bring out the camera, but not the one that we filmed with last time. This is actually my second one. This is my new
you're right.
one.
You did get a second one.
I got another one.
For some reason.
And Jeb actually was laughing. I told him, I said, hey, by the way, he's like, yeah, I've seen it. I said, no, this is my other one.
A new one.
And he started busting out laughing, and he could not figure out for the life of him why. And I was like, well, because of that reaction right there. You know, it was well worth it. Anyway, yeah, so I hope everybody's had a wonderful Thanksgiving season. We had Jeb down. We couldn't film an episode this time, but we were able to hang out with him, and so I hope everybody did get to see some family, see some friends, and eat some good, delicious food. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Let's get to a quick spotlight before we start reflecting and being all nostalgic. But so do you want to kick us off with the Kiss Spotlight?
Yeah, I'll be honest, you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and spotlight the Elder again, because I'm not out of my Elder era yet.
For sure.
So I don't have a lot to say here that I didn't already say in the two very long parts
you missed
that we already
check
filmed.
Them out.
Yeah, definitely check those out. But I feel like we're not quite done with the Elder yet, and we're still really jamming to that. At least I am, and I couldn't possibly spotlight anything else.
I think there are a lot of people out there that are also kind of, enjoying the Elder, especially our reviews, and there may be, wanting some more Elder, so who knows, we'll see what happens in the future. But I just really appreciate everybody's response to those episodes.
Yeah, we had so much fun doing those.
It was a lot of fun, and there was so much more to talk about, so perhaps at some point there will be another, Elder episode, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, like I said, it was a great album, or a great episode, great review. And I like how you're just still listening to The Elder. I haven't moved on from The Elder, but I'm not spotlighting The Elder this week.
Okay.
My spotlight is actually Asylum.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's literally just because I was like, okay, so we just did 2 episodes of The Elder. We just did, what else did we do review? I mean, we did like Animalize, Sonic Boom.
Yep.
And I think there was another one in the Hotter Than Hell.
Hotter Than Hell.
And so, that was a big one. So for a while, I was kind of, I was just listening to whatever
the anniversary was.
Yeah, whatever the calendar was telling me to. What time is it? What's the season of listening? But now it's like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah, now
what
I gotta decide on my own.
And I literally just went over to the turntable where my records are and just flip, and I saw Asylum and thought, why not?
Why not?
And I've been listening to both side 1, side 2, side 1 again, side 2 again. I have it flipped back over to side 1 for the next time.
Nice.
Because I'm still going to keep it on the turntable. It is a fun album, and I think 2025 is the 40th anniversary.
Oh, wow, okay.
Of Asylum, so that one will be a future one.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned.
I'm excited for that.
For that one. Yeah, but anyway, just Asylum.
It's a great album.
Yeah, I mean, 80s Kiss is super fun. I mean, Who Wants to Be Lonely all night? Radar for Love is one that I think has been slept on. It's
Underrated.
one of my absolute favorites
Agreed.
on the album. I love Radar for Love. Gene songs are great, but I do gravitate more towards the Paul songs.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
You know, shocking no one. Oh, shocker. That's also a Paul song
Nice.
with Desmond Child.
You're right.
Anyway,
That
yeah.
is a
Okay.
good song.
Yeah. That is a good one. Another underrated one. I could spotlight that one too if I really wanted to, even though I haven't listened to it in a while. But anyway, so yes, let me know what you guys have listening to as far as Kiss goes. Kiss music. Have you been watching any Kiss DVDs, new Kiss magazines, or whatever it is that you've been listening to? But we're going to be a little bit more nostalgic today. We're going to be a little bit more reflective and talking about what was going on a year ago, which was probably the greatest time in my personal Kiss journey.
Yeah.
Was a year ago.
I cannot believe that it was a year ago.
I mean, I could say the entire end of the road tour.
Right.
But really, it was Indianapolis, Rosemont.
Yeah, the end was so concentrated with exciting stuff happening. But yeah it was a special time for sure.
Yeah, there was lots and lots of excitement, and then there seemed to be this, really hard drop off in terms of like, what's it called? Like a hangover, like a Kiss hangover.
Yeah.
Or where you come down off of your high or whatever, and it just like you just get
Crash.
hit in the face and crash. That's probably the better way to put it. But yeah, you just there was this Kiss crash. We're going to talk about all of that, but I want to start out with your last Kiss concert, because your last show was Indianapolis, November 25th, 2023.
Just a couple days ago.
The anniversary of which was a couple days ago. The show that almost didn't happen.
Oh my gosh, that was the most stressful few days.
And I still feel bad for those people that did not get to see the Ottawa, Toronto, and what was it, Memphis, I think, or Knoxville or something like that?
Knoxville.
I still feel terrible because they were robbed of that last show, and I know what that felt like because we had it in our heads that show was not happening.
I was convinced because, I mean, like you said, those 3 shows leading up to our Indy show, Paul was sick and they were canceling shows, which is like unheard of.
Yeah, Kiss only cancels shows if they have to.
Yes.
Terrorist attacks over near Dubai, okay, fair enough.
Right.
This and that and the other.
But yeah, not only were we just worried for Paul in general, so like already kind of freaking out, but also we were like, these last 3 shows were canceled. Ours probably will be too.
Yeah.
Because my mindset was he's gonna want to be well for New York. So I'm like, what if they just cancel everything?
Worst case scenario.
That's what I was scared of.
Me too.
And we that whole day we didn't know until it was like almost time to leave that the show was on, and then we started hearing from people on social media that had the inside scoop. Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
And other people that had like inside scoops that were like, we're hearing that it's on and that Paul's doing well. We were like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, seriously, it was one of those moments where I kind of like, I mean, you know how upset I was, and I was like, okay, we're not gonna get the last Indianapolis show. All that build up for basically nothing.
And I wasn't going to Rosemont with you guys, so I was like, even if he's good for Rosemont, I don't get a last show anymore. Like I did, but I just wasn't ready.
So obviously, I still feel for the folks that did not get to see those shows.
I can't imagine.
And I understand where after a year, you would still feel upset.
No, that's still got to be painful.
It's still got to be painful.
Because they're not, they're not coming back around next time. You don't get to see them again. Like, that was your last chance. And some people had traveled, had flown.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. That breaks my heart.
Yeah, it really does. And so I understand where after a year, you might still be feeling a little bit of, resentment or sadness or bitterness or whatever, but I just...
Yeah, and I understand, but at the end of the day, it is nobody's fault.
It's nobody's fault.
But it's also... totally valid to feel that way too.
I was feeling very grateful that night in Indianapolis.
That is a perfect way to describe
it. Even though we were standing out in the cold longer than we should have been.
Yeah.
The doors didn't even open until almost last minute. It was
weird.
And there were like lots of things that just seemed kind of weird, but I was like, at the end of the day, I'm here.
We're here.
I'm in Indy. Even our seats were not that great. It's probably some of the worst seats we've ever had.
We had a bit of an obstructed view, actually. I mean, we were like pretty high up and straight on, but there's all this equipment hanging from the ceiling that really blocked our view for a lot of the show.
And so...
But... Again, we were so grateful to be there that I did not even care.
No, and we were way, way up top. And
I just was happy to be there.
Yeah, seriously, it was a moment where it was like, I'm just happy to be in the room with Kiss. Paul's doing well. And we even watched some clips from the show and how fun it was. You know, Paul was doing a lot of like impromptu stuff. that was specific to Indianapolis, talking about Bill Starkey and the Kiss Army, and then when Paul cut his finger, was flicking blood over at Gene, and
he's like, he's the king of blood.
He's the king of blood. Yeah, there were all these moments that just felt,
like genuine and, like,
in the moment, and
unique
fun.
to our show. And I feel like he was like energized and ready and like happy to be back. Like you could feel that he was ready to perform again.
Yeah, it was seriously just a really great show.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring out this and see if you remember this.
Okay.
Because, do you remember this from a year ago?
I sure do. Our project.
Yeah, so if you guys remember, a year ago, we started what did we call it? The Kiss Fan Spotlight or whatever?
Spotlight, yeah.
Yeah, we made these little filters that you hold over your phone, and it'll shine that specific color through your phone light, through your camera, and so we had all of 5 people in the crowd doing it, but whatever. Probably. It was still a fun thing.
We thought of it a little late in the tour.
It was still, it was very late.
But still, we had fun doing it.
But it was one of those things where you just kind of, Kiss fans come up with their own little project, and then, there were some people that remember how we were standing in line outside next to those people, the guy and his 2 daughters?
Yeah, and his kids,
And then we ended up sitting next to them.
That was wild. Like, what are the odds?
That was still bizarre.
Yeah, because, like you said, for some reason, the venue did not open when the doors did not open when they were supposed to.
Yeah.
And it was so cold. I mean, it's cold in November this year, but it was even colder than this last year.
Yeah, it was brisk.
It was awful. And we had coats on, but we weren't expecting to stand outside, because usually you just kind of
We had just saw Greta Van Fleet, a month prior to that?
At that same venue. Walked right in. Yeah. But we were outside forever, so we did kind of start talking to the people around us.
Which is always good.
Yeah, exactly.
I miss that from Kiss shows.
Yes, that camaraderie. But yes, we did stand right in line next to this guy and his kids, and then ended up being seated directly next to them. We were like, what? How is this possible?
Yep.
That was awesome.
And I remember standing in line. Now, of course, there's this poster right here, but the poster underneath this is the Final 50.
Yes.
And we bought that in Indianapolis.
I also bought this shirt.
And you bought that shirt?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay, for
that's
sure.
why I wore it.
That's
love
awesome.
this shirt.
Nice.
I think this is the only End of the Road shirt that I ever got.
No doubt.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but sure. I freaking love it.
Well, that's a good one.
They had like a merch booth outside.
They did.
So even while we were waiting, we were able to kind of shop a little bit, and that was cool.
Yep, and so you got that. I got the poster. I remember texting Randall, trying to figure out where Randall is. We met up with Randall.
Yep, we did meet up with him.
And then we also met up with our good friend Darius.
Well,
actually, you met Darius for the first time.
Yeah, it was my first time.
But, Darius was actually there at the sound check in Indianapolis. And I'm trying to figure out, I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the one from Indianapolis. And he gave us his pass.
Yeah, that's so
from
nice.
Indianapolis Soundcheck, which was incredible. We unfortunately did not get to go, but how generous of it. I love the lanyard on it.
Yeah, oh, it's so cool.
But yeah, we hadn't seen Darius in probably over a decade or almost a decade. Actually, I think, this year would be a decade. But it was great meeting up with him and just sitting with him before the show. And again, like we said, the camaraderie is what I'm going to really miss about the show. It's obviously seeing Kiss live, being in the same room with Gene, Paul, Eric, and Tommy, and hearing that music. But we got to see and meet a lot of people on this tour. And I think for Jeb and I, it really came to a head and, culminated with Rosemont.
Yeah.
Which was our final Kiss show. The day after Indianapolis, we went right up, or I went up by myself to Rosemont because Jeb already lives up in Chicago. But I had to drive all the way up to Rosemont, and you thought it was cold here. It was even colder.
Oh, I bet.
Up there. I mean, it was about 14 degrees, and that wasn't with the wind chill.
Can I, real quick, before we fully move on to Rosemont, can I say one more thing about Indy?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, because I didn't want to forget about this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad.
Freaking Amber Wild in Indy was so awesome.
Getting to meet them? Yeah.
Yes, getting to see them and meet them. I had never seen them before. That was that was our first time. Yours too, I think.
Yes.
Our first time seeing them as openers on the tour. And I was so nervous that we were going to miss it because we were so late getting into the venue. And then, by the time we figured out where we needed to go, they were starting. And so I think we missed maybe the first half of the first song. But that was it. And they were so good. And then as soon as their set finished, we raced down the stairs to where we knew they would be. And we got to meet them and take a photo with them.
Yeah.
Give them fist bumps and stuff. It was so cool. I got a t-shirt.
That was a moment for sure.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I really wish we could have gotten a photo with Jeb, but Jeb was kind enough to take the photo for us.
Yes, he was, yeah. And we were kind of rushed through.
But I wish we would have been able to get a photo of Amber Wild with Jeb. But either way, yeah, meeting them was surreal.
Yeah, that
Obviously,
was a highlight.
it's Paul's son.
Yeah.
So, and they played great. They sounded great.
They're amazing. I need to like revisit the few songs they have out because
Breakout is still
dude,
sick.
I've like kind of forgotten about Silver, and I was obsessed with that song. I need to revisit that.
Maybe next time will be your future spotlight.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe next time. But they sounded great in Indy. They sounded great in Rosemont. And the thing about Rosemont is that, of course, on Right Between the Eyes, we had done this series called The Road to Rosemont, where it was like Right Between the Eyes and myself and Jeb from, of course, Kiss Army Things, and then Brant from In My Head. We had Emily, Flapper Dame 16.
Yep.
And it was everybody. Brant from In My Head, and Rick even joined us, even though he was in New York. He still joined us for an episode. But just to have everybody on the screen together beforehand, talking about going to Rosemont, and then going to Rosemont. That's two different things, but obviously it was very special. It was very special. I remember when we announced it to Rob, hey, we're going to Rosemont, we're going to be there. And it was just, we couldn't wait for it, but now I look back on it, I'm like, man, I wish I could just go back in time.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's why we filmed it, though.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's why we did the round table.
And that is why why Rob had such a great idea with the Road to Rosemont. Because, it really was about the journey and savoring the excitement and the anticipation. And I feel like doing all those episodes and looking forward to it was just as fun as the event itself. And then it, like you said, it all culminated at the end of that night when you guys got to do that episode with everybody in person, or almost not everybody, but almost everybody.
Almost everybody, yeah. Emily was able to do it because she was with her family. They were having their own moment, which was great.
Right.
But yeah, RBTE, In My Head, and Kiss Army Things got together at the Holiday Inn.
So good.
And basically just made Kiss podcasting history by getting together and doing a full-fledged, full-scale crossover concert review episode, which I still am just so proud of. I look back on it and I'm like, man, I wish we could have done that again or some other time. But the fact that we did it the one time was super special. And the fact that everybody got to join us on that journey too was super cool. I like that to me is like what we should be doing as Kiss fans,
That's what it's about.
And again, I wish I could just go back in time because of how fun that was. And it makes me even it makes me think of all the buttons.
Oh yes.
Because all of us made buttons.
Yep.
And passed them out to, of course, fans, but mainly each other. It was
Right.
It was kind of for each other. And Rick even gave us one, even though again Rick wasn't. Rick sent me one because he was there in New York. There's In My Head.
That's awesome.
Brant's, which is awesome, and then here's two of Kiss Army Things, and then I have of course RBTE.
Yep.
Rob, and look at Pasquale's. Look what Pasquale sent me.
That's huge.
Pasquale's is gnarly. Like you can see. Again, he wasn't there in Rosemont, but he sent me some of his pins too. So I have just a bag full.
I love that.
All these pins, but Pasquale's is gnarly. That is still my logo though.
Yep.
I designed that.
That's true.
But man, Pasquale's is huge. But no, again, it's just. When I look back on it, I'm like, man, we had so much fun.
Yeah.
Indianapolis, Rosemont. And then comes the pay-per-view, right? The big moment in New York, December 2nd, following this huge takeover of New York, where you have all these pop-up shops, you have Kiss fans getting together, looking at all the different sites.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It was an absolute, of course we weren't there, but it was still, and I should be grabbing some of the stuff, like the Metro card or whatever. Yeah. But it just seemed like everything kept climbing in excitement. And we get to December 2nd, or I guess let's say December 3rd. And it seems like there was just this huge, again, crash in the Kiss Army where everybody had something to complain about or something that they felt bad about or something that just had to be said. And myself included, I mean, I had some mixed feelings about several things. For instance, the pay-per-view was a horrible experience.
I think the show itself was fantastic, and I don't personally have a problem with the way they went about the show, but the pay-per-view experience was trash.
It ruined the experience, yeah.
It really did.
The pre-show didn't feel as much love as I thought it should.
No, it was
a little bit forced.
It felt thrown together, forced, and I'll be honest, fake. Like I felt like I felt like...
Except for what Gene and Paul and Eric and Tommy were saying.
Of course,
but
like,
the production around it.
Yeah, and the people that were the, a couple different people that were hosting and, like, trying to act really excited. It just did not...
Yeah. The show itself, I really didn't have any problems with.
No.
And we're going to touch on this because, I mean, I knew exactly what they were going to do. Mm-hmm. It was no surprise to me. I did like how, I mean, again, every show on this tour was tailored to that city. Again, he talked about Indianapolis and how the Kiss Army started in Indiana, and then in New York, he was talking about driving a cab in New York, talking about my band's going to play at the Garden, and then here they are, not just playing at the Garden, but completing their 50-year career
full circle
at the Garden. So again, the show itself was the show, but it just seemed like the production of the actual pay-per-view. The fact that when I watched it personally, I was alone. Mm-hmm. Jeb, again, was all the way up in Chicago. I think you had prior commitments and was doing something else.
Yeah, I was in a theater production. But I got home when there was like maybe a quarter of it left. So I watched the last few songs with you. But yeah, for the most part,
But for the most part, it was just me sitting there alone. And that's not how you want to experience
so sad.
a Kiss show. So I felt like, waking up on December 3rd, for everybody, everything felt a little weird.
Yeah.
And I still think that for some Kiss fans, after all this time, now that we're approaching a year, there's still a little bit of that kind of left over.
Agreed.
And that's why I'm talking about this, and that's why I want to bring this up, because if you have some of that, and you're feeling some of that, leave it in the comments, get it all out. Let's leave this in 2024. Let's not go into 2025 holding on to something that we don't need to be holding on to. Because it took time for me to kind of, again, come to terms with what I had issues with, which was, again, kind of experiencing it without you and Jeb, which I've been to every Kiss show with Jeb. I've seen as many shows as I can with you, and even like the 2020 Dubai experience.
Yeah, we were all together for that.
We were all together for that. Yeah. So that coupled with the pay-per-view just felt like, again, it wasn't this amazing picture-perfect ending that I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
And there were lots of fans who didn't get the picture-perfect ending they wanted, whether it was having Peter and Ace join, or other members join, or hearing a certain song, or, hearing a certain name being said or listed. It was like everybody had their, and there was the whole golden ticket thing.
Oh, yeah, that was a disaster.
The golden ticket fiasco, yeah. And so it just seemed like it was almost like we were all looking for every reason to complain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even when we did our review, it was like, the show was fine, but let's talk about this pre-show,
terrible.
Man. Yeah, and so, it just, I just felt like, at the time, there was a lot to kind of, let out. But
and we haven't even mentioned the impact of the Avatars announcement at the end.
Yeah,
that's a big part.
And there were a lot of people who, did not like that, and thought that was timely. And what's funny is that was the saving grace for me.
Yes, agreed. Me too.
Because I too, like a lot of fans, was looking for something. Because with Kiss, there's always something.
There's always something, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, about halfway through the show, I was kind of realizing, okay, this is the same show I just saw in Rosemont.
Right.
This is exactly what Jeb and I predicted.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? But then I was like, but there's always something.
Yeah, I remember.
And I'm not getting that something. And I'll never forget. Do you remember what happened when the Avatars came on? You and I just standing there in silence, just like holding each other and being like,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because we were just sitting there in the dark, quietly watching the end of it, kind of
soaking it in. It's just bittersweet.
Exactly, bittersweet, kind of
watching
sad.
Kiss.
And then all of a sudden, something new started to happen. And yeah, you're right. We stood up, held on to each other for support.
In front of the TV.
Didn't say a word.
And when we saw...
what is happening?
When I saw them lift off the ground, when I saw them take flight, I knew what was happening.
See, to me, that was
I knew what was going on. And when God Gave Rock and Roll played, I said, son of a... This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the direction that we're meant to go in. Because that's, again, I was like, I mean, I get it. They're doing, again, I think, here's the issue with all of us Kiss fans. Kiss treated every single show on the end of the road tour like it was their last show.
Yeah.
But when it got to the last show, and it was just like every other show...
That wasn't enough for people anymore, yeah.
That, we kind of got used to every show being the last show.
That's a very good point.
Because everybody's issues was they did not honor the former members of Kiss. And I'm like, but they always show the...
they have been this whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah.
they've been showing all, and
Yeah.
again, oh, well, that's what they've been doing. Where's the other? Okay, I get it, fair enough. You know what I mean? But like also at the same
Wasn't necessary.
time, they didn't honor the whole 50-year musical career. Didn't they though? Because they played songs from every single era that included every single member. Mark St. John, I mean, you want to split hairs? I'm the one to split hairs with because we'll do that. But I get where people were like, we should have had members on stage. It's like you can't even get Peter and Ace in the door without somebody taking pictures and leaking that.
That was never gonna happen.
That was never gonna happen.
I mean, we
It
were
was never gonna happen.
we were rewatching a little bit of our episode 20 from 100 episodes ago, where you and Jeb were filming on that camera, and talking about your predictions, and you both pretty much landed there a year ahead of time. That
it was spot on.
They most likely are just going to put on an awesome show, and we're not going to expect any members. We don't need any other additional members.
Jeb and I's thing was that they're going to end it with just Tommy and Eric.
Yes,
I said
as
Tommy
they
and
should.
Eric deserve to end it with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like they deserve to be on stage.
That's the respectful thing to do.
And I'm pretty sure even at some point, Gene and Paul, the closer they got to the end, it was always like we had the doors open. We're always, and then things kind of fell through.
It was like maybe for a while.
And then I remember at a certain point it became definite. Like, you know what? Maybe we should just go out with the four of us.
You're right. They would say that in interviews.
And I remember going, okay, boom, there you go. But Jeb and I literally, in that episode, which was back in like 2021, 2022, well before the actual show was announced.
Right.
We were talking about how it's going to take place at the Garden, which we all kind of knew that.
Right.
Eric and Tommy are going to be the ones on stage. There's not going to be any crazy set list. There's going to be no special guests. Marvel Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah, multiverse.
Cameo.
Yeah,
this whole cameo thing that we're all used to now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not going to be like that. They're going to go out and they're going to be Kiss.
Yeah.
And I even mentioned how, everyone's like, oh, the show, production-wise, and the pyro, it was the same as everything else. I'm like, it's Madison Square Garden. It's an indoor venue. You can only fit so much in the venue.
Yeah.
It's like nothing, and I even said this too, nothing will ever be bigger than what they did in Dubai.
Facts.
Nothing will ever, because that was
no
the end all
venue will ever allow for that.
No venue will ever allow that, and they had the $2 million, $1 million, whatever it was, fireworks show afterwards. That was the biggest.
That was once in a lifetime.
That was a once in a lifetime. That was the biggest thing we were ever going to see from Kiss. Those 100-foot flames.
Yeah.
That was massive. Man, I could watch that all day, but like that was as big as it was going to get. You can't do that inside Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And if they ever even tried to do that, if they tried to have all these, different bells and whistles, like where you have Bruce come out for one song, and then, Peter and Ace come out for one song, it's just, it sounds good in everybody's head.
It would ruin the flow of the show.
But this is nothing, you can't do what they do in the movies, which is cut, you screwed up, back to one.
Yeah.
And then you action, and then once you get it right, then you edit it together. You don't get to edit this. This is all live.
Yeah.
This is happening. And a Kiss show...
Yeah, especially when they're also streaming it live for people at home,
They're streaming it live,
too. Yeah.
and again, with rehearsals and everything, I just feel like there's too much... everybody's too caught up in their feelings to actually look at logistics.
Right.
And put themselves in Gene and Paul's positions, Doc McGee's positions. And I just feel like after a year, there's certain things that we just need to let go of.
100%.
Because I feel like... we at a certain point you are in charge of your own thoughts and your own feelings
and the way you react
and the way you react. Yeah, life isn't about what happens, it's about how you react to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when it comes to this, like, it's almost 2025, it's been almost a year. When I look back on it, do I think that last show was the greatest, biggest, and best, most awesome Kiss show ever? No. I saw that show in Rosemont.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's because I was there in person.
Right.
I've talked to people who were at that Garden show, and they were like, yeah, I think Rick even said it last time. He was like, yeah, I was there at the show, and that pay-per-view was nothing like it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that
it was
pay-per-view,
a great show.
That pay-per-view ruined it for a lot of people, myself included. And it's because I put all this weight on it.
Yep.
Nothing was ever going to be as good as Rosemont.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever going to be as good as your last Kiss show.
That's true.
Because it was your last Kiss show.
Right.
And for the Garden, again, every show, I think I said it best a minute ago, every show on this last tour was the last show, and they treated it as such.
Right.
And so when it got to the Garden, it just didn't feel quite as special.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about perspective, because Gene was passing a fucking kidney stone.
So true.
He was in the most incredible pain. If anybody out there has had a kidney stone, you know that that's got to be the worst pain. I never have it. I hope I never do. But at the same time, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to know that
incredibly
painful.
Yeah.
And for Gene to be like right on the cusp of passing kidney stone,
yeah.
and he's on stage
That's like the
at
first
the
thing
last
he said when he got off stage.
Yes, and that's got to be, miserable.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many different
Paul
things.
had literally just within days gotten recovered from being ill.
Yes,
and they still put it all out there.
They did their absolute. Yeah, I mean, it was.
They did a great job. I think.
I'm proud of Kiss.
Like you said, they treated every show on the tour like it was their last because it was the end of the road tour, and I think people were mad that they treated the New York show like it was New York's last show, not like it was everyone on Earth's last show.
Yeah, everyone on Earth had their show at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I understand, like especially if you weren't able to go to any, I understand if you had expectations or whatever, but that's just not the way they were thinking about it.
And I think what it ultimately comes down to is the fact that Peter and Ace were not involved. Yeah. And I understand that Peter and Ace are founding members.
Of course. They're so important.
And they are absolutely 100%
and I
without
think
a doubt
they are honored
important.
in the show.
And I think that it's just because the four of them, and I hate it too, guys, but it is the way it is. The four of them have their issues.
Yeah. And
they will not put that, it's difficult to just put that aside.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Right.
But the fact that Tommy and Eric are wearing the Catman and Spaceman makeup shows that what Peter and Ace created, what Peter and Ace contributed to, matters.
Absolutely.
And is legit and deserves to be. See, people always say Tommy and Eric should have their own makeup. I'm like, no. You could create two new characters and they wouldn't even be half as great as the original four characters. I think Tommy and Eric were right, or Gene and Paul were right to have Eric and Tommy wear the makeup, and Eric and Tommy were right to wear the makeup.
I agree.
Because what Peter and Ace started and created, along with Gene and Paul, deserves to live on. Mm-hmm. I think Tommy and Eric have done the absolute best at preserving the original Catman and Spaceman as best as they can, while also putting their modern spin on it. I think what Tommy did as a Spaceman, what Eric did as a Catman, is like remarkable.
Agreed.
And fantastic, all the way down to learning about how Eric had specific things and features on his kits on this last tour that Peter Criss either had on his original kits, legitimately, like the skins.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure, what's the guy's name that, I was interviewing with him? Billy Baker. Billy Baker's his name. Yes, Billy Baker created Eric Singer's drum kits on this tour, and he specifically used a material that Peter Criss had used on his original kits, and made sure to use that per Eric's request.
That's amazing.
On Eric's kits. There was a time on this tour, I think in the beginning, where Eric wanted concert heads, which is drum heads with heads on the top but nothing on the bottom.
Okay.
Because in 77, Peter Criss would have heads with only heads on top and none on the bottom. So Eric Singer wanted to do that for Peter Criss. Eric always wears of course the Chikara symbol. That's just like, that's been on Kiss albums, and of course Eric Carr. Yeah. But I think Eric Singer just did his best to, in the interview, in the pre-show, Eric and Tommy were the only ones to mention Peter and Ace.
That's true.
And being fans of them in the 70s, and talking about how they got them into the band.
Yeah, and I think they were smart to mention that, but I also think it was very genuine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Gene and Paul, they weren't really thinking about it because they're thinking about Kiss as a whole, whereas Eric and Tommy are like, look, we came from those guys, and we get to carry that on, and that's not lost on us. And so I was very proud of Eric and Tommy too.
I really liked their little interview.
Yeah, but it was just, I guess, it was surprising to see just how well Jeb and I were able to kind of, even back then, just be like, look, we're not getting our expectations up too high. It's going to be a Kiss show. It's going to be great. It's going to be, no special guests, and it's going to be at the Garden, and it's going to be great. That's exactly what it was. We even mentioned in another episode, somewhere around there, maybe a little afterwards, about how it's possible that Kiss could be sold to a larger conglomerate following the end of the road tour, and rather than being a tribute band, as in real people, it will just be carried on through some corporation, which was kind of what happened. Yeah. The only thing we didn't predict was the avatars. And that's, again, what blew my mind. And so when that happened, I was like, okay, the fact that they've been... Again, because I was feeling bad about that last show where it was like, there is nothing new. This really is the end. And so when Paul said, you're going to see us in all things
Oh.
and for all time in all different ways.
That gave
We're
me
not
chills.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
See you in your dreams. That's when I started like clamoring.
I literally
That's
just got
when
goosebumps.
That's when I started holding on. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's going outside
Oh
the
my
norm.
God.
What is this?
See you in your
They
dreams.
started disappearing into the smoke, and then that's when the
avatars
came out of the
emerged
smoke
from the mist. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And the fact that they've been cooking that up since the beginning of this tour,
yeah.
they were thinking about the beginning during the end. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
They were thinking about the new beginning
Yep.
from the first end.
Yep, you're right.
And that to me is
What is it
wild.
that Paul's avatar said?
Kiss Army, your love, your power has
made us immortal.
Yeah.
I need to listen to that again because
way he says
he said immortal is like almost like evil, like in the coolest way.
It's very triumphant.
Oh,
and it's very
scary
mischievous. Yeah, it's like look what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Oh.
It was crazy. And so the fact that they've been cooking that up this whole time, and the fact that throughout this whole year, what was that quote that Paul said? It was 2 words. He said, "Kiss remains." In a recent interview, he was talking about, of course, the Avatar and talking about, because everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Kiss is dead, Kiss is over." He's like, "No, we're still involved with this every single day."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, it was simply Kiss remains.
I love that.
Kiss is far from over. We're involved with this every day, and you're going to see all kinds of things." And so that, to me, shows that they still care.
Right.
And that, is as good for me, I guess, because it gives me a reason to want to keep going with my channel. You know what I mean? Because Paul is cooking up something that we're never going to be able to even understand until we see it.
Yeah.
Makes me happy, makes me excited, and it
Absolutely.
gives me something to look forward to.
Even
Even though this past year, and we're going to do a recap episode, several episodes from now, we'll do a recap episode for 2024. But even though this year has been pretty wild. Again, there was no tour. There's not really been a whole lot of merch. There's been no new soundboards or anything like that. Right. It's just been anniversary releases and kind of, everything's up in the air now.
Yeah.
And so here we are a year, literally just dealing with our thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, we're in
some
like
of
an
which
in-between
are
phase.
left over from a year ago. And so I want everybody to be able to, share your thoughts on, you've heard me share mine, share what you're feeling, how you felt, how do you feel now. And again, let's just leave any negativity like that in the past and get it out now and just enjoy where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
For sure. Yeah, so is there anything else we needed to talk about? I don't think we do. I mean, it's just Kiss fans making our own fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
We're making our own fun. Let's announce this. So, Rick. I had Rick on last episode for the Collectors Conference. It was absolutely awesome. If you missed that episode, check it out because It's All For You Demon is one of my favorite Kiss YouTube channels. I love watching Rick's video, and Rick has been cooking something up for us for the entirety of 2024. And he has announced his very own Kiss Rock and Roll All Night and Journal Every Day. It's his book that he has made and published himself through Amazon. You can buy it. It went on sale today for us.
Awesome.
Black Friday.
Did you already purchase it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
That's pending.
Okay.
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
And Rick's like that. I'll come back to that. But anyway, so yes, we are going to be getting, absolutely, we're going to be getting our own journals because this is what I've been looking for in 2024 is something to sink my teeth into, something to engage with. And Rick has what he's done is he's taken every day of the year, January 1st to December 31st, and every day has its own prompt, has its own thought, has its own theme that you get to basically fill out and journal every single day throughout the entire year.
I love
it. Whether it's an album release or a particular season or a piece of merch or maybe it's a television appearance or whatever it is, whatever Rick has in store for us, he's going to keep us fed for the entirety of 2025.
It's such a great idea.
It's an amazing idea.
When he announced this, I was like, of course. Like, I can't believe no one's done this. It's brilliant. It's so good.
He said that he was going to be cooking something up.
Yes,
because
and we've been waiting.
He did the wax pack last year.
Yes, and we missed the wax pack, so it's exciting
and said
to
there
see
was
the
going
next
to be
phase.
a next step to that.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting, this whole year, and he comes in not just one step, but 2 steps up with the Rock and Roll All Night and Journal Every Day book. So if you're like me and you're kind of wondering, what's it going to be like in 2025? You know what I mean? Here's 2024 with no, Kiss on tour and no Kiss, kind of leading the way. The fans are leading the way.
Absolutely.
And Rick is leading the pack right now with the Rock and Roll Night and Journal Every Day book. So please go get your support him. And now I know what I'm going to be doing in 2025.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of making your own fun.
Making your own fun.
It's okay. We can still enjoy being Kiss fans even with them not on tour anymore.
And that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast.
Yeah.
Is just keep the flame burning and keep the celebration going.
I think we've been doing that all year, and it's been great.
And it's been great watching all the other channels too as well.
Absolutely.
I was just on with Rob from Representing the Eyes. We all did a Return to Rosemont.
Yes,
episode.
definitely check that out.
So if you missed that, check it out. Check out the last episode with Rick. Brant said that he wants to have us on soon.
That'd be awesome.
So, Brant, if you're watching, let us know, man, because, we would love to do that. So it's always about collaborating with Kiss fans, just enjoying the fun of being a Kiss fan. And I'm excited to get and show the Rock and Roll Night and Journal Every Day
definitely.
book. So thank you, Rick. Like I said, everybody, get it on Amazon. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a link in the description.
Yeah, good idea.
So just go there, get yours, get it now, not just for you, but for your Kiss friend, your Kiss family. Anybody
perfect
you want.
Christmas present, seriously.
Literally a perfect Christmas gift. I think it's maybe $20.
Yeah.
So super affordable. I cannot wait. I know what I'm doing in 2025.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to kind of segue into the Collector's Corner.
Okay.
We have a very special gift today.
Okay.
One of our patrons sent us a gift. Greg Sonic.
Do I know about this?
No.
Oh.
No. Greg was very thankful that we sent him a gift from Vegas. He was like, I love your guys' show. I really want something, or I want to send you guys something. Do you want guitar picks or an autographed tour book? I said,
what a choice.
I said, I'm going to take the autographed tour book. I'm going to take the tour book. I'm going to take the tour book.
Wow.
And, you know what? I didn't even show this because Rick also sent us some streamers.
Aww.
And I think Daria sent us some confetti.
Yes.
From December 2nd.
Yep.
So we also have
cool to have some
more
from that.
some more souvenirs over there. But no, so Greg wrote us a letter.
Aww.
And I'm not gonna go into it.
Can I see them?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. But he actually tells us in the letter what he got us, and did you just read it? So give me a second, folks, because I'm about to open this up, and we're gonna get into this.
Oh my gosh!
She's just reading.
This is so nice. I can't believe this.
Oh my gosh! Look at that!
Wow!
Look at that! So. This is a complete signed 95-96 convention tour book.
Oh
that is signed by the Revenge lineup. You can see Gene, Paul, Bruce, and Eric Singer. And if you turn it on the back, Eric Singer signed it again to Eric Singer. But that is
so funny.
That is a complete Revenge lineup signed. I don't think I have anything from Revenge. I have the current lineup signed.
Can I hold it?
No. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Please, my hands are clean.
Yes, of course you can hold it.
That is
Greg,
amazing.
That is seriously super cool of you.
Thank you so much, Greg. That is
I'm sure he knows how much we love Revenge, the Revenge lineup.
Yes.
We're huge Eric and Bruce fans.
Oh my gosh, it's one of my absolute favorite lineups.
Favorite albums. And mom and dad was at the Indianapolis convention.
Yep.
And I have their tour book. But they didn't get theirs signed by the band. No.
The whole band.
So the fact that Greg would want to part ways with this and
just
give it to us.
Wow, that's so generous.
Extremely nice, extremely generous. So, yeah, Kissmas came a little early this year.
That's awesome.
And it's just a reminder of how cool the Kiss Army can be when you decide to, regardless of what era we're all from, what version of the band we all might like or whatever, we can all still... we are one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to leave it at. We are one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so, again, I mentioned the patrons in the beginning. It has been so much fun, you guys, getting to know everybody, chatting with you, and posting exclusive videos. But I never would have anticipated this. This This is beyond anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say other than, seriously, Greg, thank you. And I wanted to show it on the show because, just again, to just show how cool the KISS Army is. And thank you so much for the letter. I'm really glad that you enjoy our show. I enjoy talking with you and everybody else. So thank you. I do want to get a stand for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to, just kind of put that right there and display this nicely. I'll get a sleeve for it, put it up, and then actually I'm going to put it with my other tour books because I just got a new tour book stand.
That's true, you did. Yep, right over here.
Yeah, I'm going to put it, and for my calendars too, and I'm going to put that with it.
Absolutely. Right in the front.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is super awesome. Thank you so much, Greg. That is incredible. And speaking of Kissmas, I do have just one more thing for the Collector's Corner to show today.
Okay.
This came from Kiss Online.
Okay.
Kiss Online is having a pretty awesome sale right now.
Yeah.
If you guys are looking for some last minute Kissmas stuff for you or anybody you know, head to Kiss Online, man. They got some really cool stuff. I bought the Kiss wrapping paper again on clearance or on sale.
Nice.
This was, I mean, I'm not sure how much of a, I can't think back to what it was now, but I wanted to get some more wrapping paper because I'm going to use this year.
Are you really? Okay.
Because I bought some, it's over there. I bought some a couple years ago or whatever. But this, I'm actually going to start wrapping presents with.
That's a great idea.
And Kissmas this year is already looking lit.
Oh, yeah.
I've got presents for you. I've got presents for Jeb. I've got presents for the 3 nephews. I've got presents for the 2 younger cousins.
Nice.
So everybody's getting, you guys are going to get some Kiss stuff. We're going to announce our Kissmas giveaway.
Yes, our annual giveaway.
In the next episode, we're going to be announcing, yeah, I know, I'm getting a little, Do I gotta edit a lightsaber over that now?
That was a good sound effect.
I hope not. Thank you. I appreciate that. But anyway, this is going to be dangerous. This is my pointing stick. But anyway, next episode, we're going to be announcing the 4th annual Kiss Army Things Kissmas giveaway.
4th annual? That's wild.
This will be our 4th. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's funny because we don't hit our 4th anniversary until next May.
Right.
But that's because we started
But because of when we started, yeah.
It'll be our 4th giveaway, so which is always fun. Thank you guys so much for wanting to choose to watch our show, and I'm going to be sure to. I'll probably wrap those in this, and wrap everybody's gifts in this. I hope there's a lot in there. It doesn't actually look to be that much, does it? Or is that about a normal amount?
It's a decent amount, but I would definitely be careful.
I should conserve.
Yes.
I should have bought 2. I should have bought 2 more. That way I can have 3.
Oh, never enough.
It's a great song.
I know it is.
That's a
and
great
I knew
song.
You'd say that.
Sonic Boom. Anyway, what is next? The Kiss Merch of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
This
2020,
is Kiss
right?
Merch of the Year. Episode 120. So we got to show something from 2020. And I was thinking, well, what happened during 2020? We didn't get our merch from Dubai. So what happened in 2020?
COVID.
So the only thing that I could think of is the stay-at-home T-shirt.
Wow.
From when...
This is a time capsule.
This is an interesting piece of merch, an interesting shirt.
It's time to stay home. You wanted the best, you got the best. Stay at home tour 2020.
Now keep in mind, there was a purpose to this. There was a purpose to these shirts. They made these shirts and then gave all the proceeds to the road crew.
Yeah.
Because the road crew was obviously out of work,
that is awesome.
out of a job, and they were needing to feed their families.
What's the sound back?
Stay at home on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so it has tour dates on the back, but it says every day, stay at home. Yeah.
And what's so great is that, this is so hyper-specific to 2020.
It's very hyper-specific.
Obviously you can still wear it, but, it is, will never be... I don't know. It's just such a specific point in time.
The only show on this tour would have been the Dubai show. Which, stay at home, and then as at the bottom, 2020, and then even the Catman, Spaceman. Yeah. It's a time capsule for sure.
I love it.
But, that's what I'm showing for episode 120. But yeah, like I said, guys, it's been a time of reflection. We've shown some things, and just had a lot of fun reflecting on what was happening 1 year ago. And so we're going to be getting into 2025 here pretty soon. It's a brand new year. So thank you guys for joining us, and be sure to again leave your comments talking about where you're at right now as far as your feelings. 1 year later, now that Kiss has finished their end of the road tour, and have you warmed up to the avatars, or do you still hate it? When was your last Kiss show? We talked about our last Kiss show and how awesome those shows were, so be sure to reminisce with us and reflect. And we'll be sure to join you back on episode 121, where we will be announcing our Kissmas giveaway. So stay tuned. Is there any other news we need to get to? I think that's that pretty much wraps it up.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what, thank you guys so much for joining us. And yeah, we're going to wrap it up because we are actually on a time crunch this episode.
Yes, because of this camera.
Since we are filming with the KISS camera, we do actually have a limit of 1 hour. And so to make sure that I'm not going to, risk losing the video or it cutting out. How funny would it be if it just cut out?
Light is still on. I think
yeah, no, how funny would it be?
We'll give you a little break from us, though, after 2 very long episodes.
We did have 2 very long episodes, so this is just a nice little intermediate kind of checking in.
Yeah.
A nice little
reminisce.
Trip down memory lane.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get out of here on episode 120 of the KISS Army Things podcast. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
By the way, next episode is going to be Elder Part 3. Goodbye.